I said don't lock your legs. Right? Just bend it. If I say bend it, I don't see how you can lock your legs. Just bend your legs a little bit, and if you need some help, let us know. All right? And so we're going to get started in a few minutes. Thanks.
That normally is not there.
So the chair is going over these flowers. Usually the chair
Yeah, so we got
the edge of the green.
So we got to
cover the flowers.
Okay, so since you're
we got chicken eggs.
Or, I mean, the chair straddles the flowers.
So anybody that's with you, go to your equipment, right? Go to your equipment.
Need more white, brother?
Yes, please.
Want us to make a second line?
You're going to be part of this run drive. Okay?
Put the rings on there. I just want to be too far from him, but I don't want to be all alone.
MIB.
Huh?
Filming for Moscow Islamic Brotherhood. Pressure, tell me. Go back. What? Over there? All right. Go. All right, I got you. Got it.
Nothing. I just need to just keep track of.
Understood, brother. Understood.
Hey, good brothers, how y'all doing? Where y'all from?
Maryland.
Maryland, how y'all doing? Welcome. You been here before?
Oh, yeah.
All right, get on the line with the men. If you're not a photographer, get on the line with the men. You're my guest. So you're with the Islamic Brotherhood?
Yeah,
He sent me back over here.
Oh, okay.
That's your brother? Okay.
We generally come in February.
Come in February?
On the date of his
Okay,
martyrdom.
well, this is the day that we do it, and so it's the Muslim Mosque, and it's the Organization of Afro-American Unity, and we have a particular way in which we do it.
You mean the Muslim Mosque?
Muslim Mosque Incorporated.
Alhamdulillah. It's an honor.
Brother, there you go.
feel
Excuse me,
honored.
brother. Can you please get on that line over
Absolutely.
there? Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I'd be glad to.
Peace.
Come this way.
This way. This way. Alaikum salam. Peace to you. Thank you.
Who told you to come over here? Reggie?
You mean Reggie, yeah.
Okay, yeah, you can go over there.
You sure?
Just tell me what the Mosque is talking about.
I told him that. He sent me right here.
Oh, okay. Do the best you can.
Yeah.
You didn't start to swim, right?
I kind of did.
Oh,
I'm on it right now. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna have to do it with your phone because I'm on live stream right now.
Okay.
But you want me to take a picture or you want me to film?
No, just a picture.
Oh, copy. Ready when you are.
I was hoping to get a shot though.
Else?
Take one step back, step back.
Bring the sound. Bring the sound.
Sharif, can you bring that bag over, please? Sure. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله أشهد أن محمد رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alafia, Hotep. Dear brothers and sisters, we are gathered here to commemorate, to thank the Creator for the life of the great martyr, our leader, our black shining prince. And I ask that you join me now in a prayer, in a universal ecumenical prayer that's in the tradition of our brother Hajj, Malik, Malcolm X, Amawale Shabazz, radiyallahu anhu, may God be pleased with him. Our dear brother Malcolm was a Muslim, meaning one who lovingly and willingly surrenders to the divine. And so we thank Dr. Smalls, we thank Brother Reggie and all the organizers for giving us this space. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of God, the Creator, the most loving, the most merciful, we call on you through all of your names. You who is known by many names. You who is known as Olodumare. You who is known as Atan and Aman and Ra. You who is known as Ar-Rahman and Ar-Rahim. We call on you through all of your names. There are names that have been revealed to us in Scripture. Names that have been inspired in the hearts of human beings. Names that have been taught through the prophets and messengers. Names that have been taught to the angels. And names that you have kept in your own knowledge. We ask that you send blessings and peace upon all those who were sent to teach us the divine ways, the ways of balance, the ways of truth and peace and love and justice and mercy. We ask that you send down upon this gathering divine serenity and tranquility. We ask that you fill our hearts with gratitude for the lives of Dr. Betty Bahir Shabazz and Hajj Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, Amawale. We ask that you bless their relatives, their family that is present here and that is buried here, and that you bless them wherever they are. We ask that you make their graves meadows from the meadows of paradise. We ask that you preserve and protect their legacy and their loved ones. We ask that always their lives be a guiding light for us in our struggle and in our path. We pray that the spirit of Malcolm and the spirit of Mother Betty are present with us in this moment. For martyrs never die. Martyrs never die. Martyrs never die, and the spirit never dies. We ask in this moment where our people are weak, where our people are disunited, where many of our people have lost their path, we ask you through your beautiful names, through your powerful names, we ask you through the rank of Malcolm X, of Malik Shabazz, we ask you through the sanctity of Mother Betty Shabazz, we ask you for liberation, we ask you for freedom, we ask you, O most loving of the loving, eternally merciful, all-powerful, possessor, Lord and Master of the heavens and the earth and what is between them. We ask you through the sanctity of Prophet Muhammad and Prophet Adam and Prophet Noah and Prophet Abraham and Prophet Moses and Prophet Jesus, we ask you this through the sanctity of our righteous ancestors. We ask you for liberation in our lifetimes. We ask you for liberation and freedom in our lifetimes. We ask you for empowerment in our lifetimes. We ask you that we and our children and the children of our children and our offspring realize, manifest liberation of the body and the mind and the soul, of our wealth and our property in our lifetimes through your power, through your might, bi'izzatik wa bijalalik, ya dhal jalali wal ikram. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad al-Fatih lima ughliq wal khatimi lima sabaq nasir al-haq bil-haq wal hadi ila siratik al-mustaqim wa ala alihi haqqa qadri wa miqdarihi al-azim. We ask you, O Allah, through all your beautiful names, to send blessings upon our leader Muhammad and all of the prophets, the opener of what was closed, the seal of what came before, the helper of the truth, and the guide to your straight path, along with his family and his companions and all the prophets and messengers, in accord with his immense measure and rank. We ask that you rectify us and our people, and rectify humanity, and grant us to see a world in which love, truth, peace, justice, and freedom reign supreme for all lives. Ameen. Ashe. 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 Let us all recite Al-Fatiha with the intention of acceptance and to the prophetic presences. Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. عشان
Tap. Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Afia. But everyone who's here today know this is May the 19th on our calendar. That is the birth date of Malcolm X, Hajj Malik el-Shabazz. Lying on top of him is his wife, Dr. Betty Shabazz. Normally we have her stool draped in white, but there was a rush this morning.
So I want to let my big sister, my mother, know we did not forget you, because we doubt if we would have had a Malcolm X as we knew him if we didn't have a Dr. Betty Shabazz as his companion, and who continued his work and gave birth to the beautiful offspring that they've left in the world. So I would like to ask the first speaker, okay, for the musicians, move over this way and then begin to play. But come, move with precision. Right angles. This way, this way. You guys run in the military. You didn't train in the Muslim Mosque of the Sons of Africa. So, but let me explain what you're looking at. That chair is draped in our African liberation flag. It's sometimes called the African American flag. The grave is draped in the red, black, and green, the African American African liberation flag that was brought to us by the UNIA under the leadership of the Honorable Marcus Garvey. And that flag is the fourth African nation flag in the world. There's only 3 flags of Africa that fly that's older. That is Ethiopia, Liberia, and Sierra Leone. And then the red, black, and green. So it is an old symbol. I see people trying to change it with stripes and stars, and that's not our flag. This is our flag. Red for our blood that have been spilled in all these years of struggling and resistance. Black for Mother Earth and the race out of which God created us. And green for the continent of Africa and all of its luscious production that sustains life, not just for Africa, but for the entire world. And so it is a flag to be respected, to be revered, and to be honored. This ceremony was started in 1965 under our dear leadership, Sister Ella L. Collins, sister of Malcolm X, then president of OAAU. And on this day, we sent a letter to the United Nations, to all Caribbean nations, and to Black America that this was Malcolm X Day. We were declaring it a national holiday for ourselves. We do not want the government or the state to tamper with this or say they declared this. We've declared this for 56 years. And today, because of the COVID, we are here in small numbers, but most of you know the numbers that would be here if it wasn't for COVID. So we thank everyone that came. Now the brothers in white that surround the grave symbolizes Islam. And it symbolizes the school of thought that Malcolm Hajj Malik was beginning to be trained under coming out of the Sudan. And we do make a distinction. I served for 18 years as imam of the Muslim mosque. I went to Mecca with my comrade and brother Rodnell in 1974, crossing into 75. So we're not new to this. I think I am an authority in many ways on Islamic history. Though I haven't written on it, I've studied on it. And when we watch the world, Islam is not just a symbol. It is not just a series of rituals. It is a way of life and a behavior towards humanity. And only those who practice that behavior towards humanity do I know as Muslims. And one thing we can say about Hajj Malik al-Shabazz, he practiced the behavior even to the tune of giving his life before humanity in the name of Islam. He understood Islam. It wasn't just a religion. Matter of fact, I question that interpretation, religion. It is a way of life that the people of the earth should live. in relationship to nature and cosmology and all other living things. Somehow many have lost that path to just rituals and their own cultural history. But we come to make a statement when these brothers stand in the white to symbolize the purity, and do not confuse the white with those whose skins are transparent, because they're not white, even though we call them that. This is what white looks like. In our earliest days of knowing our history,
I took a few already. I'll take
through
more when we
Kemet,
finish.
through Sudan, and further south, our people dressed that way long before there was a Hebrew Israelite, long before there was a Christian, long before there was the way of life that we now call Islam. But that way of life, Prophet Muhammad Ibn Abdullah, Al-Amin, may peace be upon him, he said, I come not to bring a new religion. I come to restore that which was here in the beginning. So let's see and lean on that, because we feel Hajj Malik represented that. You know, he represented the fight for freedom, the fight for justice, for anyone that needed it. You know, and he gave his life. A 39-year-old kid. I'm standing here at 75. When I first came out here, I was 21. This man at 39, a child, literally stood with such force and strength. The whole world is celebrating this day today. I got calls this morning from Africa, from Tanzania, from Liberia, from Germany. They're celebrating the birthday of this man because he lived Islam. He was Islam. He didn't just ritualistically practice Islam. The rituals are necessary to teach you, but you've got to accept the teaching and be transformed. And if Malcolm symbolizes anything, it's human transformation when truth enter your consciousness. So that's what we're out here to remember and commemorate. That's enough talking on my part. But I just wanted you to understand. And the chair symbolizes the chair of leadership of that standard is still unfilled in our community. We have many leaders that are doing extraordinary things, but the leadership of that standard have yet to be filled. Okay? So let's be clear. There was a time we came, people say, oh, they're worshiping a man. We know better than that. You know? Those who would use the symbol of a man for God are foolish people and ignorant and don't know any better. We are paying respects to a martyr that dared to live the life of a Muslim and a man of righteousness, and the enemy of justice killed him. And we here to let them know, you haven't killed him unless you kill all of us.
Ameen.
So I would like for my brother, I know he was running around here with the camera. Where's Brother Collins? Where's right now? Oh. Oh. And even though those folks in Albany says you don't need a mask, for those who don't wear a mask, we still expect you to make some appreciable safe distance between you and the next person. Of course, if it's your family member, you don't have to do that. But we will practice the protocol that makes sense. Last year, one of our brothers who was here with us, and he was 40-something years old. He died a month after he left here. I had to fight with him to wear a mask while he was here. I don't know where this thing came from, but it's here. And let's use our common sense to deal with what we are dealing with, so that we can get on the other side of it. Those in the world who are watching this on Facebook, this is not a game we play. We've been here 56 years. Whether you're hobbling on one leg, some of us have grown old coming here. We've grown our children up here and our grandchildren up here. This is a sacred pilgrimage. And that's what we called it when we started. That's what it is. It is a pilgrimage to the site of a martyr of the divine. Okay? And so that people can truly understand why we're here. On other days, if it wasn't COVID, there would be hundreds. But each one of you represent thousands who are here today because you took this time at your heart. So understand why we're here. And we will always come. When I'm gone, you'll come. Your children will come. And tell us, brother, we hear you. And we're going to follow your instructions. We're not just going to celebrate you. We're going to follow your instructions. We're going to hear you. And we're going to live in the manner you prescribe for those who are seeking freedom should be living. And so, to dear Malcolm and Sister Betty, a family, and in our world of the divine, it is a man and a woman that makes a family. Let us let you know that we consider that way, and it is made clear. When a woman reproduces a child who had a seed from a man, she has carried out the act of creation as a part of and on behalf of the divine itself. Babies don't fall from the sky. They don't grow out of the ground, and no stork drop them off. So we understand when we say God is one, what we mean. So don't confuse the t-shirts, with this, because we got things to do. And these young babies around the grave, to me, they're young babies. They're standing here on your behalf. Okay. So I'm going to ask a member of the family, the firstborn of Brother Rodnell P. Collins, the son of Ella L. Collins, the sister of Malcolm X, and in many ways the mother of Malcolm, who gets mentioned too little in the discussion of Malcolm. So I'm going to ask her grandson, Rodnell's firstborn, Brother Ajun, to come and speak on behalf of the family.
Thank you. Peace and blessings. Good afternoon. Hello. So it's an honor, obviously, to be the legacy of Uncle Malcolm. My grandmother to be the legacy. It's an honor. And it's an honor that we're all the legacy of that spirit that survived. Professor Small said, the spirit never dies. It does not die. I watched as Uncle Malcolm was brought out on a chair and placed here on top of his grave. And he's dust now. But the spirit never dies. He's the trees now. He's the wind now. The spirit never dies. He's us. And we live on to carry that understanding, that knowledge, that ancient knowledge. And that's the best we can do for anyone. Now, I'm seeing the same thing happen 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. Since time memorial, we're being killed. We're being downtrodden. It wasn't COVID that started it. We suffer from that as well. But the main thing to take forward is to understand who our enemy is. It's not a person of flesh and bone. That's nothing. They will be dust as well. It is a spirit. It's a spirit. That's other than what the truth is. It's other than what Uncle Malcolm stood for. And that spirit has to be quenched. What they call white is not white, as Professor Small said. It is not the purest. It is not what we see honoring a martyr today. It is something that we have to extinguish, that ideology, that perversion, and we have to make sure that that legacy is brought forward, to understand what we are fighting, what we have to constantly, year after year, moment after moment, recognize as our enemy, as the enemy to our consciousness and to our survival. It's an honor to be here, as Professor Small said, after 56 years. I was there not many of those years, but as many of those years as I can be from now on, I will be. Thank you.
Oh, sure.
As we stand over a revolutionary couple, you know, a model of family and struggle. Most of us think of Brother Malcolm and Sister Betty just as being people standing in front of microphones. You have no idea the hardship they suffered. You weren't in their apartment when the police kicked the doors in, cuffed them, put them on the floor and searched their home. You weren't there through all the death threats coming both from our own community and the enemies. But that couple stayed together in revolution. May I just make some suggestion? Both brothers who have their hair tied, I'm not going to give an order. Untie them. Because your heads can release some of that heat. Okay? It is hot today and we're going to make it quick. But I would like for a couple that symbolizes revolution, symbolizes struggle, but not just in symbol, who have acted out in their daily lives for decades, one of whom spent too many years incarcerated on our behalf. So if Brother Sekou and Sister Dekwe would come and say something to the people, so they know that you're real, and these are not myths. You gave your life on our behalf. You're not a myth, you're real.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Greetings, everyone. I greet you with this greeting of the prophets, peace. Assalamu alaikum. Free the land. And all the other revolutionary greetings that we pass among ourselves. I'm honored to be here, honored to get a chance to say a few words today at one of our martyrs, my hero, someone who I've dedicated my life to trying to practice what he taught us. I go back quite a ways to the mid-60s with Malcolm. I joined the Organization of Afro-American Unity in '65, right before Malcolm passed or was assassinated. But since he left here, I've been trying to live what he taught. I picked up what he dropped. He dropped the staff. I picked it up and ran with it, you know, along with many other brothers and sisters who believed in his teachings. And today we continue to do that. We try to pass it on to our youth. So good to see some of them out here. In the last year, we didn't make it out here. I've been home now for about 6 or 7 years, going on 7 years. And I missed 1 year, I missed last year. But it's an honor, like I said, to be here. And we're going to carry on.
Assalamu alaikum. As Sekou said, free the land.
Free the land.
And greetings and good afternoon. My name is Dekwe Keone Siddiqui. There's oftentimes I've been coming here. I served as the chair of the Malcolm X Commemoration Committee which was created by Baba Herman Ferguson, Yuri Kuchiyama, who today is also her birthday, Brother Bailey, Gene Reynolds, a number of folks that were members of Malcolm's Organization of Afro-American Unity. And they were concerned with the commodification and the distortions of Malcolm's true legacy and history as a warrior black man. And they created the Malcolm X Commemoration Committee in order that his legacy and his truth be carried on. And so I've been honored to serve on that committee and then serve in the leadership of that committee. And so when I come here not as myself. I come here remembering that, as Baba James Small said, Malcolm was 39 years old when he was murdered. But he lived a life. He lived a life that continues on. He gave his life. His children and his wife sacrificed their lives in different ways for our freedom. So we all have an obligation, not just on Malcolm's birthday, but every single day. I represent and work with and advocate for those U.S.-held political prisoners and prisoners of war who Sekou left behind the wall, who also carry on Malcolm's legacy. So when we come to these places, it's filled with a history that is more than one person. It is filled with a history that's centuries deep, generations deep, lives lost, lives won, struggles waged, and struggles that continue to be waged. So I sometimes get emotional because I feel it in my soul and in my spirit that we have a right to be free.
That's right.
We have a right to fight for our freedom. We have a right to define for ourselves who our heroes and sheroes are.
That's right.
So once I learned better, I did better. I never work on Malcolm's birthday. Not for them. I work for us.
That's right.
And my prayer is that more of us, as Brother Small said, will take that on and say, we don't need the state, we don't need this capitalist power structure to tell us that it's okay to honor Malcolm. So I thank you all for being here. I think that, Malcolm lives in your heart too. That's why you're here. Our task is to pass him on to other people who don't know, and to remind them that there are people still in those dungeons that are carrying on Malcolm's work, because we do it anywhere and everywhere we are. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Brother Small, for making sure that Sekou and I got here today. So it's a beautiful day, and I love you all. Thank you so much. And I love Malcolm. Thank you.
The honor that you should understand that those two people who was just here, they're not storybook revolutionaries. They're not armchair revolutionaries or Facebook revolutionaries or Instagram revolutionaries. This man put in how many years, Sekou? 33 years incarcerated on your behalf. That's all of his youth. He gave it up for you. When I met Dekui, I think the first time we met, you were having the dinner to raise funds just to buy the basics for those brothers and sisters who's behind the walls. So they are real revolutionaries that honor this race and believe in freedom or death. That's the only mantra we should have. Freedom or death. And there was another brother whose father was one of the founders of the Commemoration Committee, one of the founders of the OAU and Muslim Mosque. Is Brother Ferguson still here? Yeah. Come. This is the son of Brother Herman Ferguson. Matter of fact, you took their mask off and he looked like Herman. But I would like for you to just say something on behalf of your father's spirit and on behalf of your mom.
Good morning, sisters and brothers.
Good morning.
As Professor Small says, I'm Michael Ferguson, and it's an honor for me to be here on behalf of the Malcolm X Commemoration Committee. As Sister DeQuee has said, in 1992, my father and stepmother, Herman Ferguson and Herman and Ialua Ferguson, with other members, former members of Malcolm's Organization of Afro-American Unity and Muslim Mosque Incorporated, formed the Malcolm X Commemoration Committee, also known as MXCC. My father was a member of Malcolm's OAAU and was the chairman of the Education Committee under the OAAU. The principal, also as Sister DeQuee said, the principal purpose of MXCC, or one of the main purposes, was to continue the real legacy of Malcolm X, and not the commercialized version of it that was very prevalent and popular during the 1990s, particularly when the Malcolm X movie came out. And forgive me for relying on some cards here, but I just want to get some of this just right. Okay. Several years after its founding, MXCC approached Dr. Smalls and asked if we could participate in this pilgrimage. And so we have been, when it wasn't the pandemic, we had been sponsoring buses to come up here and been participating in the events around the pilgrimage. Hajj Malik Shabazz, Malcolm X, was a true warrior at the time of his assassination, and at the time of his assassination was rapidly emerging as the leader of the Black liberation struggle for land, self-determination, and reparations, with a clear, strong Pan-African commitment. Malcolm's commitment to justice, freedom, and liberation of Black people in the United States and throughout the African diaspora, and his strong revolutionary principles were unwavering. And even in death, he influenced the birth of many Black nationalist groups, such as the Black Panther Party, the Republic of New Africa, and the Black Liberation Army, among others. He was respected and welcomed all over the world by people fighting for freedom from oppression and for national liberation. Malcolm's legacy still gives direction and inspiration to the Black liberation struggle. Self-determination, self-reliance, and self-defense were all hallmarks of Malcolm's legacy and are as relevant today as when he was assassinated. My father, who transitioned in 2014, always attended the pilgrimage and participated in many of the events honoring Malcolm on May the 19th. And has been said before, I believe that my father is still very much with us today in spirit and would be proud of the commitment and dedication still found today on our continuing liberation struggle. And I'd just like to end with the words that he would probably use. Free the land, free all political prisoners, Black power. Free the land, free all political prisoners, Black power. Thank you very much.
I was very deliberate. I gave special time to our special comrades and leaders. But I'm going to limit everybody else. If you don't limit yourself, I will limit you. Don't let the cane fool you. In fact, it has an added weapon. But I want to have, there's one brother who is the Imam of the Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood, MIB. Mosque that was created and founded by one of Malcolm's students, Imam Tawfiq, Hajj Imam Tawfiq. And they've been consistent over the years in supporting this pilgrimage. And they've been consistent in coming to do the Islamic aspect of the prayers. And so I want you to keep it to 2 minutes. I will take your other time, okay? But our imam has been very ill. And so MIB did send a message that they wanted to give to you. And the reason we want to keep it short, you can see we're moving these young brothers, it's hot. And we don't want any of them to pass out over here. So the quicker we can get through, the better.
Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, I'm going to be less than 2 minutes. On behalf of Imam Talib Abdul Rashid, the Imam of Mosque of Islamic Brotherhood, we'd like to greet everybody and encourage everybody to continue on this path, this legacy which is still alive. A path and a legacy that Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz did not start, but picked up and served very well. That his student, Sheikh Alama Ahmed K. Tawfiq, picked up and served very well. And that we encourage the young people here today to find your place, to pick up that staff, pick up that tradition. Find your place in this tradition, this noble place, this path of divine religious wisdom, this warrior path, the path of intellectual superiority. Find your place. Step up. Take this legacy and take it to where you need to be taken, on to the next generation, into the future. Ameen.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
That's a good Muslim brother. He knows how to do the righteous thing. Normally we have elders, but there's an elder. He's getting to be an elder. He's a junior elder, but he's with us every year. And so I want him to come and speak on behalf of the males, because everybody can't speak. So I'm asking Brother Michael. Yes, you, Brother Michael, you getting older too, brother. You walking like me. So, to speak on behalf of the males.
Say I am.
I am.
Because we are.
Because we are.
I am.
I am.
Because we are.
Because we are.
Just want to quickly and briefly say that we have to do better. We have to be better. I don't know if you saw the news conference yesterday with the district attorney from Elizabeth City, North Carolina, justified the killing of a young black man, saying that he used his car as a weapon. And if you saw the video, he intentionally swerved out of the way of those 10 police officers and moved out of the way and was systematically cut down 14 rounds into the vehicle. DA said he did not care whether the car was moving or not, whether it was moving to the left or the right, backwards or forward, didn't even care if it was moving 1 mile an hour. Said the fact that he didn't comply. So let me say on behalf of 100 blacks in law enforcement who care, on behalf of the United African Movement and the William Mackey Study Group in Brooklyn, let me just say that we have to be better and do better one to another. That is the best way to honor Malcolm. We don't honor Malcolm by just praying behind some locked doors down in your basement under a bed somewhere. We got to do it in a tangible way. Last year, this year, we wasn't here. We had a sister out there named Jennifer McLegland in Valley Stream that was being harassed by a retired white cop. Well, 100 blacks, we had to go out there because he was running out of the neighborhood, which he ran the prior owner out of the neighborhood. We didn't stick around and wait and pray for somebody. We went out there and dealt with that white cop. And where's Ray? Brother Ray from the Mackey Group. He was out there also, and he's not law enforcement, but came out there with 100 blacks in law enforcement. We have to stand better and do better.
That's right. That's right.
Got black men being killed all over. Here you had not only George Floyd was killed, but you had Dante Brown. You had Wright, you had Stewart, so many others killed. And what did we do? We stood around and did nothing. We got to start doing better. Sandra Bland and so many others killed. We had McMillan, she was killed in the custody of police officers. One did jujitsu on her because she wouldn't pull up her sweatshirt after being arrested. So I'm just saying, we're going to have to do better. And if we don't, all these gatherings, you're not honoring Malcolm if you don't take up and stand in the principal way for each other.
Until we do that and find our place, like the brother's saying, all this is meaningless. Scriptures say, stop all the praying, cease all that, all the gifts, burning stuff on an altar. Stop all that and learn to do right. Until we are brothers to each other, and truly, it's not substance. It's just ceremonial. Until you put your life on the line and stand forward. When you can stop the rape of a sister by white men. Some of you today still say Tawana Brawley's situation was a hoax. Well, United African Movement was started because we was defending Tawana Brawley, because she represents all black women. And that's what we have to do. Everything we take as an insult. Anytime you touch any of our women, you take the chance on dying. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying we got to get better. We honor Dr. Jeffries, Professor Smalls, Dr. Calfani, by understanding what they teach. If we don't understand what they teach, this is all for naught. If we can't stand for each other principally, under the principles of what Marcus Garvey stood for, and then we're not truly honoring Malcolm. To honor Malcolm, as Ossie Davis said, we honor the best in ourselves. We honor the best in ourselves by always putting our best foot forward. And let me just say in ending, forward together. Forward together. Backward never. Backward never. God bless you all.
Thank you, Brother Michael. But I'm going to have to make one slight correction. It's all right to do rituals if they have meaning. It's a part of your culture system. But your culture should teach you revolution. Don't tell me you serve Shango and say, oh, Shango is my head. And then I don't see you out here carrying out the work of a warrior. Shango was also a warrior. Well, let me hear you say Ogun. Ogun is my Orisha. But I don't see you on the front line fighting the war. Now, this T-shirt I have on, a brother gave me, with me being arrogant. A brother came to Africa and made just one T-shirt called "The Boldest Black Man in America." I don't deserve wearing it, but today I said I'll wear the T-shirt. And the reason he said it, about 6 years ago, I got tired and I said, I got a certain power. Millions of people hear me on the internet. I got a footprint all over the world. So I made a tape that said I was tired of black fathers standing before microphones and crying after their sons or daughter have been slaughtered. And I gave them the instructions. Find the killer in or out of uniform, kill them. If you can't find them, kill their families. Now that went viral across the world, and it's been running viral for 6 years. And I just want to let it be said and be clear. You've got to live what you believe if you truly believe it. Rituals and ceremonies should give you the inspiration and the strength, as they did in Haiti with voodoo. But they didn't wait for no voodoo gods to come. They became the voodoo gods. You understand? We have to be the gods if we are to be free. And that's why Dessalines said freedom or death. There's nothing in between those two. A little bit of freedom, half freedom, freedom or death. Be clear about it. So, yes, Brother Michael, you're one of our strongest soldiers. You know, many days we have brothers there, you don't even know them. But I know brothers with NYPD and other PDs, sometimes they come all the way from D.C.
Yes, sir.
Who also have been in this movement since they were teenagers.
Right.
And I made one advocate. You want to stop police brutality? Take the police force from the white man. That's in your community. Otherwise, you're leaving the weapons in the hands of your enemy, trained to kill you with law on their side. Take it away from them. In the last 30 years, the fingers of young black men primarily have killed over 300,000 African Americans in the streets of America. So don't tell me you don't want to be the pig. Get rid of the pig and become the law enforcement and protector for your community.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise, take them on toe-to-toe, and you're not doing that. You know, do you understand?
Yes, sir.
You know, at this age, in a few years, I won't be out here with you. But you have to be here, not just for the ceremony. This is one day for a few hours.
That's right.
The rest of the 365, you should be taking some action that helps to lead towards liberation and freedom throughout the Pan-African world. And you have to be conscious and deliberate. This isn't about you making money off the movement. Be conscious and deliberate. Everybody's here going to die. Nobody gets out of this world alive.
That's right.
And if you have the honor to choose when, on behalf of your people, you're greater than most. So don't take this ceremony lightly.
Right.
We hope it inspires others. So I want to bring a young sister to speak on behalf of the women. And she's younger than many of the sisters, but the reason I'm bringing her, because her father started in his late teens in the Sons of Africa. He's bald-headed now, but they've stayed the course. And everywhere these brothers have gone, when they left us, whatever community they've moved into, they've joined some sort of freedom struggle organization, every one of them. Otherwise, we disassociate from them. So, sister, come and tell them your name.
My name is Adia Jefferson, and my dad has always been very adamant about introducing me to African culture and integrating me into that world and knowing the importance of not only being black, but also as a black woman. And I just think there's a certain essence about being a black woman, especially in regard to the motherland and how that specifically connects to being a woman.
That's right.
And there's a sisterhood and a unity that I find amidst black women that you cannot find in other places or other ethnicities, because there is that tight-knit, beautiful connection that spanned from Africa. And as we were taken from our homeland and brought over to the Americas, even on the plantations, there's just been a unity between black women in raising each other's children and nursing other babies with their breast if the mother was not able to do so, and taking care of each other and always looking out for each other. And even in relation to our black men, and always being there and being supportive and providing unity and that tight-knit connection. And I know, I just feel it's just a beautiful thing.
That's right.
And especially in relation to even our society, black women are not upheld on some pedestal.
Right.
The reality is that we are considered to be lesser, although that is not a fact whatsoever.
Right.
It's not a fact whatsoever.
Right.
Not a fact.
Tell them, sister.
There's just a beauty in black women that is misunderstood and that cannot be seen by most, but that does not mean it is not there.
That's right.
My father has always taught me that we are kings and queens who come from Africa, and that's just something that I carry for myself and that all black women carry.
All right, all right.
We're almost near the end. We did introduce the West African tradition, and I want Iya Oyenike and Baba Rob to come up and speak to the Yoruba tradition. And I want you to take your 2 minutes, or I'm going to snatch Shango and Ogun, and they're going to have a problem. Okay. So let me tell you a little secret. In Islam, I'm known as Al-Hajj Amin Shahid. It means simply the faithful witness. Sounds pretty in Arabic, but we don't speak Arabic. Generally, some of the brothers do. But Ashahid, I'm a witness. That's one of the names they call the 99 pearls of faith, or the 99 names of Allah. When a teacher teaches, and let me be clear, I'm credentialized by the Rabat Alim al-Islamim, the Rabatal, to teach in the Western Hemisphere this Islam. But there are younger men and women now whose task this is, to teach you. But I just want to enlighten you, because Malcolm was not a fool. I remember the day I walked into the Rabatal. I think Rodnell and me on that first day were together. And they asked about two people, Hajj Muhammad, and that's when we learned the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had made pilgrimage, not just Umrah. But they had kept the secret because he didn't want to bring forth Arab culture when he was trying to get us away from European culture and have us succumb to something else. And then they asked about another man. They didn't call him Hajj. They said, "You're a disciple of Holy Malik." Now, I didn't understand, and some of the scholars know there's a concept in Islam. And Islam do have sainthoods. And the Rabatul told me, and we were very clear, because I met the entire council, every member. I took the challenge, took the test, and I did what I went to Mecca to do. They said in Islam, the Rabatul had declared Holy Malik a saint of Islam because the way he lived his life and the commitment he gave to humanity. That's something we should know, because people really don't understand. This young man could have walked away. The feds offered him money. Anybody would have paid him to stop leading us. Never took a penny from nobody. He knew they were going to kill him that day. Roddy knew they were going to kill him. But he went forward because he saw if he was a coward, you would be a coward. He showed you how to live and he showed you how to die. That's why he's Holy Malik. And so when we come to West Africa, people think that is such a strange, different tradition. But it's not. I can take the 99 pearls of faith, the 99 names of Allah, and I can juxtapose them beside the 99 orishas, and I can show you the same quality and attributes as being discussed that should be developed in the human character so they can be a right living human being. Rituals are different, but the principles are the same. Malcolm understood that. And so when we talk about Pan-Africanism, we're not talking about African division, we're talking about African unity. And in order for something to be united, it's because it has diversity. But those diversities don't have to be antagonistic. Those diversities can be the very glue for unity. So I'm asking one of my ears, Oyenike, who is of the same school of thought of me, when I says I'm a priest of Oya. People think of some pretty woman with locks running through the bush. No. Oya means change and transformation in the human character as a result of ethical and moral principles being practiced in your behavior. That's what we should teach. Now there's some who teach about